What if I told you the most dramatic moments in nature can be captured with water and pigment? Today I'm going to share with you 5 techniques you can use in your painting, and today I'm doing a beach painting. Watch how a flat wash, a gradient wash, dry brush technique, a soft lift, and wet painting can lead to a show-stopping beach scene. I'm starting with my drawing on cold-pressed Fabriano 140-pound watercolor paper. Normally I start with the sky in a landscape painting, but this time I decided to block in the houses. To capture some of the details of the houses, I'm using a NicPro round size 10, and then to do the wash, I'm using an Artegria quill size 6. What looks like a flat wash now with an attempt at a tree that I end up taking out later because I don't like it, ends up being a gradient wash. As I move towards the left of the scene, you can see that there's some mist in the reference photo, and I'm going to depict that in this painting. The colors I'm using are a combination of cobalt blue and shadow green, both by Daniel Smith. I'm also dropping in some raw umber. At this point, it's no longer really a flat wash. I'm really working wet into wet. Notice how, as I bring the houses down into the foreground, I'm using a dry brush technique. This is to try to suggest some sandy beach, without putting in all the details. The trick to the dry brush technique is to hold your brush almost parallel to the paper. I have a video that's dedicated to dry brush technique that's in the link above. I'm departing from the reference photo because I thought the sky was kind of boring. I have a cloud reference, a cloud photo I actually took myself, that I'm going to use in this scene. This is an evening scene, so I'm putting sunset colors in the background. I'm using a combination of cobalt blue, burnt sienna, Perylene maroon, and yellow. As you can see, this is all wet into wet. I need the sky to dry before I can go back and work on those crisp clouds. So this is a perfect opportunity to put the water in. I'm trying to get a little bit of a purple color, so I'm using a combination of cobalt blue and Perylene maroon, as well as some burnt sienna. To show that the sand is wet, I'm using a darker value of the brown that I mixed up, which is a combination of cobalt blue, raw umber, and Perylene maroon. I'm painting in the blue sky along the edges of the clouds to have mostly a sharp edge. This looks like a flat wash, but in fact it's going to become a gradient wash as I start to blend the blue towards the sunset colors. The purple I'm adding is Winsor violet, also known as dioxazine violet. Oh, the paper's starting to dry, so I'm going to have to spritz it with some water. See how that hard edge along the cloud line really defines the shape of the clouds. If I had more going on in the foreground, I could have stopped here. The first step in bringing in the details into the clouds is to do a wet into wet wash where I have soft edges. All you need to do is, after you've put in your pigment, is to take a clean damp brush and drag it along the edge of the color so that you get a soft edge. Now I'm doing little mini flat washes in the clouds. Some of it's wet into wet, mostly little flat washes. The idea is that I put in a light color and then maybe drop in some more pigment, maybe not. And then once I get to the edge of that shape, I go back with a damp brush, a clean damp brush, and soften that edge. Watch how I soften the edge at the bottom of this cloud. Filling in the details of the cloud really is a matter of doing curved shapes, some wet into wet, and then softening the edges over and over. I've been debating about this painting. I really like how the clouds turned out, and I like the silhouette of the houses. But every time I look at it, my eye goes straight for the house and then for the clouds. Really, I wanted the painting to be about the clouds. Now, I didn't want it to be just clouds with nothing else around, so I put the houses on the beach in. But I think I need to lighten this up. And I've gone over this a few times, and I'm afraid what's going to happen, but I'm still going to try to lift some of the pigment. So, wish me luck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wet the paper in the shape of this house, and I'm going to try to lighten it in such a way that it doesn't look a lot lighter than everything else, because as you can see, it goes from lighter to darker. So let's see how this goes. I might just use the brush to lift some of the pigment first, which is a very gentle way of lifting. I don't think I'm going to scrub like with the Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, but my thought was wet it and then try. Well, that didn't get up much of anything. See? You can't even see that. I don't think I used staining colors. It's been a while since I've worked on this painting. I had set it aside because I was just not sure what to do. Now, one other thing I could think about, besides trying to lighten this, is to fuzz it, meaning make it a little fuzzy. Blur the edges. Oh, I hope I know where to cut this. And I don't know how well it's going to do that. Yeah, it's not really doing that. And I've just gone into my cloud. Well, it's wet and actually is lighter. Maybe what I could do, have a little gray here. Didn't you just say you're going to lighten it? Just wait. I'm going to make it bleed. Well, I'm still not happy with that. I'll scrub out the edges a little bit, and that will give the illusion of a soft edge. Okay, let's see what that looks like when it's dry. Well, I think it's a little better. It makes me want to do it along here too. Yeah, I think that's actually working. Here's the finished painting. I'm much happier about the balance between the beach houses and the clouds that really are the subject. Now you know the basics of painting a dramatic backlit beach scene. To learn more about painting clouds, check out this playlist.